This is RTV6 News at 11, working for you.
Makes it an obstacle, and what we don't need right now are obstacles.
It has been nice to have a pedestrian-friendly Mass Ave this summer.
What a difference 2 months makes. Some businesses are now praising a decision to shut down streets in a popular part of Indianapolis after initially criticizing the closures. Good evening to you at 11 o'clock. I'm Mark Mullins.
And I'm Amanda Starrentino. WRTV's Cameron Riddle talked to one vocal small business owner who now says she was wrong.
Car-free streets have been part of everyday life in Indianapolis since late May. And on Massachusetts Ave, former skeptics are embracing the change.
You know, initially I was very taken aback when, I was told that the street closures were coming and happening. And I think it was a really hard time because most retailers were only just starting to reopen their doors. And it did feel kind of like just another hurdle to have to overcome.
Kristen Cohn is the owner of Silver in the City, and after seeing the pedestrian-friendly plan in action, she's found an appreciation for the once unwelcome change. Her shop now features a sitting area where cars would normally park, and the names of Black Americans fueling the Black Lives Matter movement are what customers see as they walk in.
Having the streets closed allowed us to connect more as members of the community, and as people came out to protest and in support of Black Lives Matters, and as businesses started putting up boards, again, showing their support. But the conversations that we've been able to have, because so many people came and walked and biked.
Don't get the store owner wrong. While there has been plenty of good to come from the street closures, it hasn't necessarily saved every business from the deep hole created by the coronavirus pandemic.
It's hard to say what the closure impact has been on business. We have no idea what business would have been like if the streets were open. I would say that retailers are still hurting in a very big way. Our annual sales at our stores are still down 50% for the year.
After seeing more buy-in from businesses, the city is now extending the street closures on Mass Ave, Georgia Street, and Broad Ripple again, this time until Labor Day. Cohn says while the full effects of the street closures are unclear, they have at least made a difference.
Having the street closed has promoted a stronger sense of community engagement, and I think that this summer that was really important.
In Indianapolis, Cameron Riddle, RTV6.
And the mayor's office says they will stay in touch with businesses during the closures. They say they are glad to hear the decision to close streets in the interest of public health is also benefiting businesses.
New tonight, wearing a mask will be mandatory in Fishers starting on Friday. The city's health department board approved the decision tonight. Masks will be required in indoor places other than private residences and outdoors where social distancing is not possible.
The city of Indianapolis is considering a second round of rental assistance to help people rebound from the economic crisis caused by the pandemic.
There are certainly families across our city facing crisis, and some who are now on a waiting list for this program. So we know that even despite our best efforts to size a program that was meaningful, it's not enough to meet the need across the community.
The program for Marion County residents started taking applications 1 week ago. Officials say they received 10,000 in just 3 days. And because of the high volume of applications, requests are temporarily suspended. That does not mean help is no longer available.
And as we get further into the application processing over the next couple of weeks, we hope to be able to reopen and take some of the folks off the waiting list because there are still funds available in this round.
You are asked to go to indyrent.org and click on the link to share your contact info to get on the waiting list. If you live outside of Marion County, the state is offering a similar rental assistance program. You can apply by going to indianahousingnow.org or by calling 1-844-463-7368.
Now to the toll the pandemic is taking on Hoosier lives. 2,632 people in Indiana have died from COVID-19, according to the State Department of Health. More than 635,000 people have been tested for the virus. 9% have tested positive. Tonight, we're hearing from a central Indiana family that has been waiting weeks for results of a COVID-19 test. Amanda Cook says that her daughter took a test at a CVS in Anderson after waking up with a sore throat. Well, it's been 14 days and counting and still no results. Cook says not knowing and going without a paycheck has been hard on her daughter.
She's a recent college graduate, and her work post-college, she had a contract that already got canceled, so she had to move home and get a part-time job. Now she's not even able to do that.
We reached out to CVS. The company tells us patient samples are sent to third-party labs, which are responsible for processing and delivering test results. They say an increase in COVID-19 cases in other parts of the country has led to delays. Indiana's health commissioner acknowledged the issues at last week's news conference. A reminder, anyone who lives or works in Indiana can get a free COVID test through the state. There are no other requirements. You can register at lhi.care/COVID testing or by calling this number, 888-634-1116.
New at 11, Lawrence Township Schools is the latest district to delay the start of the school year. And tonight, the school board voted unanimously to move the first day for students to August 13th. School was originally scheduled to start on August 3rd. The district says the extra time will help staff members get accustomed to safety changes. And today, Clark Pleasant Schools announced the first day there is pushed back to August 6th. That is a week later than originally planned. And over the weekend, IPS announced a 2-week delay to August 17th.
Now to the weather. Scattered storms are in the forecast for much of the week. Chief Meteorologist Kevin Gregory is helping you prepare tonight.
And we'll go look at those showers that are out there in a second. It's dry. 77 at Indianapolis International Airport. The wind is light. As far as overnight, not expecting any severe weather. Actually, thunderstorms are pretty unlikely. We'll have a couple of showers and temperatures eventually fall into the 60s. As you can see along Interstate 74, just north of that now in Shelby County, fading area of rain. It will cut through Hancock County. Those of you, Knightstown just had a shower in southern Henry, and then toward Rushville, those will fade away. In the morning, 7 o'clock, not much happening. 9 o'clock, the first round of showers and some isolated thunderstorms moves into central Indiana. Notice I said first round. We'll zero in on the second round and the potential for some strong storms coming up.
Today, investigators confirmed that lightning sparked this apartment fire in Columbus. The fire department says 18 people had to find emergency housing because of the damage at Stonegate Apartments. The fire started around 5:45 yesterday afternoon. It took crews about 2 hours to get it under control. And the cause of a fire that killed a mother and son on the west side of Indianapolis is still unclear. Firefighters gave a sad update today. 12-year-old Jeremiah Vinson died on Saturday at Riley Hospital for Children. He and his mother, 43-year-old Kiana Jones, were pulled from the fire at Meadow Lake Apartments Wednesday morning. Jones was pronounced dead after being rushed to the hospital.
A Fishers police officer has filed a federal lawsuit claiming the city never paid him for more than 1,000 hours of work that he worked off the clock. Robert Bowling worked as a school resource officer. The lawsuit alleges Bowling was assigned to special projects and was told to work off the clock after he was disciplined for not completing his regular duties in a timely manner. The lawsuit accuses the city of Fishers of violating the Fair Labor Standards Act. RTV6 has reached out to the Fishers Police Department and the city regarding the lawsuit. We are waiting to hear back. Bowling was placed on leave from the police department last year amid allegations of ghost employment. Indiana State Police investigated and the Hamilton County Prosecuting Attorney's Office reviewed the case. They did not file criminal charges against Bowling. However, Fishers Police is moving forward with terminating him from the department.
And tonight we know more about the suspect in an ambush at the home of a federal judge in New Jersey. Authorities say the shooter dressed as a FedEx delivery person, killing the judge's 20-year-old son and seriously injuring her husband. The gunman was found dead today. ABC's Romina Puga has the latest on the investigation.
The mystery unraveling behind the brazen daytime shootings of a federal judge's family in New Jersey. Judge Esther Salas's home was attacked by a man dressed in a FedEx uniform with his face covered. Officials say at 5 p.m. on Sunday, the judge's 20-year-old son Daniel answered the door and was shot and killed. Salas's husband, criminal defense attorney Mark Anderl, was then also shot, but he survives. A suspect was spotted by a neighbor walking away calmly.
He's not like running or someone's following him, not that way.
Then Monday in Liberty, New York, 100 miles north of the crime scene, authorities say the alleged shooter was found dead in a car from a self-inflicted gunshot wound, with a FedEx package addressed to the judge in his car. The deceased suspect was Manhattan lawyer and self-described anti-feminist Roy Den Hollander, who had a case before Judge Salas in 2015. He is also known for suing Manhattan nightclubs over their ladies' night discounts in 2007.
I'm now trying to turn these tables of equality on the feminazis who have changed this country.
Judge Salas was reportedly in the basement at the time of the shootings and not harmed. Authorities are investigating any connections to Hollander besides that 2015 case and if he had made any threats to Salas. In Colorado, Romina Puga, ABC News.
New and next, why cowboys were called in to help first responders after a semi-crash on the North Split.
The show must go on. That's not true during a pandemic, but just ahead, organizers of a popular Indianapolis Film Festival are proving, in some cases, the show can go on.
This is RTV6 News at 11, working for you.
New at 11, first responders called in some unusual backup after a crash on the North Split. A semi hauling cattle overturned just before 5 o'clock this afternoon. No humans were seriously injured, but 6 cattle died and 1 ran away. State police contacted professionals to bring in cattle trailers. Those professionals were cowboys on horseback. They brought fencing to help corral the cattle into the trailers, including the one that ran away.
As of today, more businesses are requiring customers to wear masks. That includes 2 prominent Indianapolis-based restaurant groups. Cunningham and Hughes Culinary own Brew Burger, Livery, St. Elmo, and Harry and Izzy's, just to name a few. Several major corporations also started mask mandates today, including Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, and Lowe's. We spoke to customers who say they're in favor of the new requirements.
I have children at the house, so the last thing that I want for them is to get ill in any way, shape, or form. So I stand with it, and some of it might be childish to some people, but with people with families and loved ones that are really getting sick and passing away from this, it's a serious issue. So I want to keep it away from my kids as much as I can, so I'm behind the mask.
I just think that everybody needs to just relax and do what's requested of them, and this will pass. We'll get out of this fine if we help each other and relax.
Many other retailers, grocery store chains, and businesses are also requiring masks. Kroger's mask mandate starts Wednesday. Target shoppers must wear masks starting August 1st. Some companies will provide free masks to customers who need them.
There is no shortage of filmmaking talent here in central Indiana, and much of that talent will be showcased this week at Indy Shorts International Film Festival put on by Heartland Film. RTV6's Cornelius Hawker tells us how they're doing things differently this year because of the coronavirus pandemic.
It was really important for us to carry that festival forward, not only for our audience, but also our filmmakers.
Jessica Chapman, marketing manager for Heartland Film, tells us why the Indy Shorts International Film Festival, in its 3rd year, worked so hard to continue despite the pandemic.
Film festivals around the country are being canceled and postponed, and they really rely on us to get their stories out and to tell what they've been working on over, maybe a year, a couple years.
The film festival begins Tuesday, July 21st, and festival goers can watch more than 100 short films from the comfort of their home. It's something very different, but people have taken to the idea, according to Jessica.
And we've actually sold over twice as many film festival passes as we did last year. So that's pretty cool to see.
But letting people watch from their home isn't the only thing they're doing differently this year. Thursday through Sunday, Tibbs Drive-In will be playing several of the festival's films.
I think there's something new and fun about going to the drive-ins, even though it's an older concept. I think it's something that people don't think about and they haven't experienced. It's a new experience for them.
A film festival like no other, changed by the pandemic, but working out for them.
We really just had to switch courses.
Indy Shorts International Film Festival is an Academy Award qualifying festival dedicated to short films. If you want to check it out, you can learn more about it in this story on the RTV6 app.
Okay, so this has been a talker almost all day for Kevin and I, and we've talked to you guys on social media asking if you got stuck in this. A bunch of bugs.
It was like raining bugs. Now, I'm not standing here with answers. I just want you to know that a lot of you shared this as well. This is a picture from Nancy Pierce, and at times when I was driving into work today from Hendricks County, I thought it was raining. You could hear the bugs hitting the windshield. That's what it looked like, and a lot of you experienced the same thing. Meteorology versus entomology. I just go like that. 40% chance we'll see thunderstorms. I think we'll see a round of thunderstorms enter the state in the morning. That'll lose steam, then come back late tomorrow night into the overnight. Wednesday and Thursday, periods of thunderstorms both days. If you've missed out on recent rains, you've got a decent chance ahead of you. Temperatures, they don't get too carried away. I think the fact that we'll have decent cloud cover like today, that kept our high at 84, but the periods of rain and clouds keep our temperatures mid to upper 80s. First thing in the morning, 8 a.m., some showers and thunderstorms pushing into the western portion of the state. A few of these may have a little punch with them, certainly some heavier downpours. That's by 11. Then by 1, that pretty much washes out, and we dry out during the afternoon for a while. Temperatures, as we mentioned, with decent humidity into the mid-80s, if not warmer. I'm going to pick up the timeline, and my confidence in the exact timeline is not great. I think they redeveloped for a second round, but whether it'll be earlier than this, it's hard to tell right now. It depends on that morning round. But just to show you, there'll be another push of thunderstorms. This is 24 hours from now. Storms entering western Indiana, any one of which could be strong to isolated severe storms. The main threat from the stronger storms as they move through would be damaging wind. And like nearly every rain event we've had recently, a heavy rainfall included with these, where you could pick up 1 to 2 inches in an hour or two. Wednesday forecast. Periods of thunderstorms, temperatures of about 87 for the afternoon high. Temperatures to the north only slightly cooler, still in the 80s. This is all dependent on the timing of thunderstorms, whether you have a chance to warm up to the upper 80s. Wednesday, showers, some thunder showers, mainly during the heat of the day. They start to flare up in the afternoon into the evening hours. Some heavier downpours possible. Thursday, 85. We'll end the work week with temperature at 87. As we get to the weekend, you'll see it in the 7-day forecast, our rain chances go down and our temperature will come back up. It'll start a 3-day stretch of 90-degree temperatures or warmer with relatively low rain chances and temperatures in the lower 70s for overnight lows. Mark?
Thank you, Kevin. The Rebound Indiana is connecting you to resources to help you get through this tough economic time. This week, the Indiana Black Expo is hosting an online seminar to help small business owners. It's called There's Still Time, CARES Act and PPP loan forgiveness. If you have questions about filing paperwork with the Small Business Administration or have already received money from the Paycheck Protection Program and need help with the loan forgiveness process, a panel of experts can help you navigate those issues and more. The webinar starts at 2 o'clock Thursday afternoon. You can find a link to register at indianablackexpo.com.
The federal Paycheck Protection Program continues to face some scrutiny. Scripps reporter Alicia Nieves shows why watchdog groups who fought for PPP transparency are now pushing for accountability.
A list of businesses that received forgivable Paycheck Protection Program loans from the federal government has just been released, bringing to light that millionaires, billionaires, and even a celebrity received federal aid intended to help struggling small businesses.
From the very outset, the public and watchdogs and elected officials had a very good reason to want data to see where this money was going, because as we just learned, we had a good reason to be questioning if this program really was going to fulfill what it said it was going to do.
RJ Cross is with the watchdog organization U.S. Public Interest Research Group, which pushed for the data release and now is pushing for accountability.
And a big improvement on the program would be true audits on all of the loan amounts that say, if we find that you could have probably gotten money somewhere else, we're going to take those taxpayer dollars back.
Currently, only loans over $2 million will be audited, but most of the loans taken out, including some by millionaires and billionaires, were just below that threshold.
So we don't have any proof to say that they picked that amount strategically, but it certainly raises questions.
Watchdog groups say the only way to answer those questions for the American people is continued transparency and expanded audits.
Fraud and corruption are a real concern. Anytime the government is spending money and giving it directly to companies, and especially the pace at which it's been happening right now, and the amount of secrecy that the administration has insisted there should be around some of these funds, even when we've been promised true transparency, means that there's reasons to be keeping a very close eye on what's happening next. The biggest bailout in U.S. history deserves the most transparency in U.S. history.
I'm Alicia Nieves reporting.
Coming up, many college athletes are left in limbo as universities, conferences, and health experts decide whether to move forward with fall sports. How local students and coaches are preparing for the unknown.
This is RTV6 News at 11, working for you.
More professional sports are slowly getting closer to taking the field. The Major League Baseball season starts on Thursday, and NFL training camps are scheduled to kick off this week. But the future of college sports this fall is still uncertain. At the University of Indianapolis, they're taking things one step at a time. Our Brad Brown takes a closer look in tonight's Sports Extra Spotlight.
Slowly and cautiously, the Indy campus is starting to come back to life as the first group of fall sports athletes are getting back to work.
If we can show that we can fully operate during this time frame, that's going to be a really good footprint to operate with once the fall sports come back.
Scott Young will be taking over as Indy's Director of Athletics on September 1st. He is overseeing what will be a weeks-long process of getting players and coaches back in action.
We're provided guidelines by the state of Indiana, by Marion County, by the University of Indianapolis, and as long as we can operate within those guidelines, we can be creative in allowing our student athletes opportunities.
The multi-layered approach comes from a couple of angles. First is the now standard practices of wearing masks during downtime and extra sanitizing of facilities.
The new protocols that have been put in place by our athletic training staff and team physicians are they're minorly inconvenient. So the temperature checks, we have a daily health questionnaire that the girls fill out.
The other comes in the form of timing. Teams are returning only on certain weeks and upperclassmen only before freshmen come to campus.
We're asking our athletes to kind of try and stay quarantined as best possible and still live their lives, but do their best to try and avoid the big groups and all that. And so far, it's been great.
For the teams that are already working, it's also a numbers game. Football workouts that may have previously included half the team are now reduced to groups of 10 or less.
The biggest challenge, as I think it has been for everybody else, is that just as soon as you have something in place and you have all the answers, then the protocols change and then the systems change.
We're all anxious to get back, and so we want to do what we can to follow those rules so that way we can continue to move forward.
And there are still so many questions to be answered. Seasons may be delayed, conference games only, perhaps moving all of this to the spring.
Everybody's been gone, but they're also very understanding that the decisions we make now will make major impacts on our fall seasons.
And that's pretty much the mood for now. Be ready for anything, even if that anything ends up being nothing for now. Brad Brown, RTV6 Sports.
Likelihood goes up for showers and thunderstorms tomorrow morning between 9 and 11, entering the western portion of the state. Losing steam after that, only to set the stage for later thunderstorms in the day. Temperatures in the mid-80s in many locations. It's dry in Indy right now. Amanda?
Thank you, Kevin, and thank you for making RTV6 your choice for news. Good Morning Indiana starts at 4:30. Have a great night. Good night.